Ever since albums began being sold commercially, the way that we experience music has become almost just as much visual as it is audio. Whether you realize it or not, album artwork can completely affect the way that you experience an album. The presentation of both the art and the artists themselves are vital to create a meaningful fan base for the music. Whether it comes in the form of a music video or an artist's Instagram page, in today's social media age, the way that an artist presents themselves visually is growing more and more important. With the release of his latest album, Donda, Kanye West has used his visual presentation in the perfect way. He gave his fans 3 listening parties, each with completely different visual stories being told. But the visual rollout was happening long before these 3 events even started. Months before Kanye began teasing us with music, he was seen at various events wearing a mask completely covering his face. Throughout this whole rollout, Kanye was speechless. He didn't give one interview or even tweet once. It was his mask alone that started building the hype. In 2013 and 14, Kanye used to wear a variety of diamond-encrusted and lavish masks, but that was only when he'd perform. This time around, Kanye wore his masks off stage. Before his second listening party, he live-streamed himself for 24 hours, and his mask was never taken off. For years now, Kanye has been the face of celebrity in America, being an extremely controversial figure, and then marrying into the most viewed family in the world. Everyone was always watching Kanye. By wearing these masks, he made a statement about his public image. It created a mystery around him and his project. Around this time, his collaborators Travis Scott and Playboi Carti started wearing the same mask on social media and even while performing. Kanye wore his mask all the way until the end of his third and final listening party. As the show was winding down, he lit himself and his childhood home on fire, only before resurrecting to meet the love of his life. When he saw Kim, he removed his mask to reveal a big smile, in a moment that encapsulated all of the themes and feelings of the album.
A game of chess is like a sword fight. You must think first, right? Before you move.
Now Kanye may be the latest, but he's far from the first rap artist to wear a mask. One of the earliest cases I could find of an artist rocking a mask is the Wu-Tang Clan. On the cover to their debut, Enter the Wu-Tang, the group all sports white masks, looking like a clan of faceless assassins. This is a classic album cover and perfectly reflects the sound of the album, but only one member of the clan rocked a mask after the cover, and that was Ghostface Killah. Supposedly, Ghost wore a mask to hide from the police, because there was a warrant out for his arrest due to his involvement in a robbery. RZA has since debunked this rumor, saying that the mask was a reference to the Ghostface Killah character from the film The Mystery of Chess Boxing. But to my knowledge, the character in that movie didn't even wear a mask, so it looks like GFK might have worn his mask out of practicality and not artistry. Either way, I wish he would have continued rocking it into his solo career. Many of the biggest artists in hip-hop have worn masks as a temporary stylistic choice. Eminem, Jay-Z, DMX, and Lil Wayne have all worn masks at times, but only really ever for a short period. The mask never became a part of their brand enough to affect public perception. The one artist who embraced wearing a mask more than anyone else is the one and only MF Doom.
My servants began to forge what was to become the most dreaded costume on the face of the earth. The last thing to fit was the mask. Would it conform to my twisted features in comfort?
When his brother Subroc passed away, Doom, then known as Zev Love X, disappeared from the game for a few years. He returned in 1999 as the masked supervillain MF Doom. This metal mask, originally made from an altered mask from The Gladiator, has become one of the most iconic symbols in underground hip-hop. From 1999 until his death 21 years later, Doom was never seen in public without his mask, which came in numerous looks and styles. What now can be looked at as one of the most brilliant ideas in artist branding of all time didn't start off as a polished idea. In fact, before Doom rocked the metal mask, he would still cover up his face when performing. It was never the mask itself that was important for Doom. It was what the mask represents. Listen to Doom explain the meaning behind his mask here.
Yeah, the whole mask thing, really, it's a time in hip-hop where things, from my point of view, started going more to what things look like opposed to what things sound like. You know what I mean? Before, we ain't know what MCs look like until we went to the party and seen them rocking, you know what I'm saying? Or seen them, you know, most of the time you see them rock on at a show before you even knew, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, before video, pre-video, you know, so, you know, you really was going off the sound of the record. Straight skills. See, once it started getting more publicized and, you know, it started being, hip-hop started being more of a money-making thing, then you get these corporate ideas where you want to put what it looks like to sell what it sounds like. But we dealing with music. So what I did was I said, all right, look, I'm gonna come with the angle of it don't matter what I look like, it don't matter what the artist look like, it's more what the artist sound like. So the mask really represents the whole like to rebel against the trying to sell the product as a human being, you know what I mean?
Doom's reasoning that the mask helps empower the music inspired a whole generation of underground rappers, whose anonymity creates a mystique around their whole artistic presence. Mach-Hommy is perhaps the most known disciple of Doom in this way. Mach has been one of the most mysterious figures in the underground for the past few years. Only a handful of images of Mach without his mask are even available online, as he always wears the Haitian flag over his face. With very little information known about his personal life, this mask helps Mach keep his mystique, but it also provides all the backstory that we need to know about him. Mach-Hommy wears his Haitian heritage on his sleeve, or quite literally on his face, with his two most popular albums being odes to his home country. He often breaks into Haitian Creole on his records, so it's impossible to separate this part of Mach from the music. What was most likely started as an attempt to keep his privacy has become one of the most iconic pieces of apparel in the underground, and is a key component to Mach's brand. Billy Woods is another underground artist who hides his face in order to keep his privacy and emphasize the music. To Billy, it doesn't matter what the mask is physically, as long as it does the job of shielding his identity. Sometimes his mask isn't even physical at all, it's just blurred out in post-production. While certain artists deep in the underground like Sadu Gold or The Hidden Character have really embraced their masks as a part of their identity, many artists throughout the decade have used masks sporadically as an artistic approach to add some extra grit to their image. As hip-hop evolved in the 2010s, there was a push from both the mainstream and the underground to regain its street credibility, after rap had become homogenized as a pop vehicle. Many artists use masks either on their album art or promotional material, oftentimes a ski mask or a Jason-style hockey mask. Some of the major artists to use this are A$AP Mob, Schoolboy Q, and Westside Gunn. All trends come and go, but this one seems like it'll stick around for a while. While this underground movement was going on in the US, the UK drill movement was picking up steam, and many of the primary artists of that wave heavily incorporated masks into their image. Although their reasoning for rocking masks doesn't differ much from their American counterparts, no other subgenre of music has embraced masks as much as drill. As a genre and subculture that is known for its dangerous lifestyle and rebellious behavior, it's no surprise that some of these artists would want to keep their public and private personas separate. And in the 21st century, with social media being so prevalent, shielding your real-life identity seems like an idea that more artists would be taking advantage of. In 2014, drill pioneer Scribs, of the group 6-7, was legally banned from making and performing music for 2 years. Following this, Scribs donned a mask and changed his name to LD, quickly becoming one of the major faces in the drill scene. LD has been called the godfather of drill, and the up-and-coming generation of drill artists followed in his footsteps by rocking face wear. There are many different variations of masks that UK rappers wear. M. Huncho, who isn't really drill but is associated with the scene, rocks face wear that resembles an executioner from the Middle Ages. Some artists wear unique ones like V9, who rocks a black Deadpool mask, but most of them are some variation of the balaclava, also known as the bali. And the bali itself has different variations, like the regular helmet balaclava, the ninja balaclava, and the rare knitted octopus that Kilo Jugs wears. During the COVID-19 pandemic, as the whole world became masked, artists like DaBaby and Boozy took that opportunity to wear surgical masks on their album covers. But the duo Ayo and Teo actually made this look popular a few years before the pandemic made it necessary. The duo actually said the origin of their masks came from a comment on Instagram, when a follower pointed out that they scrunched up their mouths when they danced, which I guess adds to the list of reasons why rappers would wear a mask. Hip-hop is constantly generating unique voices to carry on the culture in unique ways. Lakaylee47 is one of the most creative young artists, and she has some of the most unique and creative face masks too. RMR from Atlanta and Lord Felix out of Boston cover their faces in two completely different ways, but they make two completely different types of hip-hop, so it makes sense. It's so cool to me that artists are still finding new and interesting ways to express themselves with masks. Now that Kanye has done it on this grand of a scale, I'm sure that we'll see an influx of rappers wearing masks in creative ways these next couple years. So now I have to ask, what is your favorite hip-hop mask? Aside from MF Doom, of course, because that mask is the greatest, no questions asked. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. If you enjoyed the video, if you can click that like button and subscribe to the channel, that would be greatly appreciated. I'm working on a lot of videos at the moment, so there's more coming at you soon. Thank you so much for watching, and rest in peace, MF Doom.